We might be able to move a little bit back. I don't want to scare him. He's literally about this far from the wheel. Okay, maybe if I just try put my foot. Oh no, there we go. And just maybe roll back. Okay, no, I think that's not going to work. We're going to have to. There he goes with it. He's finally got it. He's looking very chuffed with himself. Come on, swallow it whole. I can't see. Oh, there's a little shongile. I'm just looking where the others are. So that answers a lot of questions whether the cubs do hunt. They do. They hunt lots of small things: squirrels, dwarf mongoose, banded mongoose. Now, I wonder if Karula's going to wait for him to eat his big meal before leading them back to wherever the other carcass is, or is she going to put pressure on him to swallow it? He might not even eat it. I've seen little leopards catch squirrels and then just abandon them. Oh, it's not so fun. It's not running away anymore. Oh, unfortunately, it is still blinking. It's almost like he's trying to make it run again. It's not so fun now that it's not running away from him. Run, squirrel, run! Oh, it is still alive. Not by much. Oh, no, it isn't. It was playing dead. Is it going to escape again? Has it escaped or has he got it again? Let's move a little bit. Sorry. Silly boy. As I said, I think it's more fun. It's more of a toy than a meal. It's escaped. Don't know how healthy it's going to be after escaping the jaws of a leopard. Now, that squirrel's gone right into that thorny, fallen down knobthorn thicket, and he's charged in there to try and pull it out. Well, it's quite interesting. We can't see exactly what's happening, but I'm sure he's probably caught up with that poor squirrel again. Now it's really thorny in there, so even for a leopard who's quite tough, that's probably quite uncomfortable. Oh, there we go. See, he's got thorns stuck in his face. What? Where'd the squirrel go, bud? Oh, trouble's coming. Shongile is now starting to get a little bit closer, take a bit more of an interest. Who knows, maybe the squirrel will run in her direction. Show her brother how to do it. Oh, he's stuck in the thorns. Ow. I think that squirrel's actually escaped. It's managed to get right into a big, thick pile of thorns. Where's that squirrel? Has he lost it? Oh, here comes Shongile. Maybe she's smaller. She's going to be able to get into that thorny thicket. Has he got it? Or has he just got thorns in his face? That serves you right for going into a thorn thicket, Tingana. He's just hooked onto every thorn. He's trying to bite the thorn out. You're going to get a lip piercing at this rate. And the squirrel moves and his attention is immediately drawn away from the thorn attached to him. Look at how he's trying to remove the thorns from... there we go. It looks like he's got himself out of there. The squirrel has made a disappearing act. Maybe there was a hole or something it managed to get down. Well, this could be very interesting. What is young Shongile going to do? And if you, here we go. Look at her. She's been sneaking closer and closer to where Hosana lost that squirrel. Oh, it looks like he's giving up. Now, I wonder whether young madam is going to... yes, she is. She's going to go see if she can find it. Now, let's see if she's a bit smarter than her brother. Look at that tail. Look how the tail's going. Maybe she'll be able to get that squirrel out of there. Now, the next question is, will Hosana become interested again or a little jealous? See, she seems to go at the problem solving a little bit more datingly than her brother. Look at that, she's got flat onto her tummy. Oh, the squirrel's gone up into the branch. The squirrel's still alive. There we go. She got him. That squirrel's gone right into those thick thorns. It jumped up onto the branch. I think she might have... no, she hasn't managed to pull it down. This is a very resilient squirrel. Look, there she goes. She's going for the squirrel. But it's really thorny in there. Did the squirrel fall down to the ground? I didn't quite see what happened there. Oh no, she's got it. She's got it. She's got it in her paws. Now, getting herself out of there is going to be interesting. Oh, she's dropped it. Oh dear. Karula, your cubs are not covering you in glory today. They're showing to be a little bit clumsy. Now she's got to try and get down back to the bottom of that thorny thicket. I'm glad I'm not in that thorny thicket. Let's just leave it at that. Here we go. Again, same tactics as her brother, using her mouth. Oh, she's out. But has the squirrel now finally succumbed after multiple attacks by multiple leopards? Oh, she's going in. That's about where the squirrel fell. Surely it must be all over for the squirrel now. I can hear the squirrel making noises again. How is that squirrel still alive? She got it. I can't see. Oh, she's still trying to get in there. I mean, put it this way. If you and I tried to get into that thicket, we would be lacerated to the point of hospitalization. Back in. She doesn't want to give up. She hasn't given up yet. I wonder how long the patience will last. She got it finally. No. This is absolutely enthralling. Is she going to give up? Or is she going to keep trying to get that measly 5 grams of meat out of the bottom? Is it a matter of principle now? Oh, I can still hear that squirrel. Just make it out. This is absolutely fascinating. And will she come out successful is the question. Oh. No, missed. Come on, little shongi. That squirrel's obviously got itself into a really, really good spot. Oh, she's got it. She's got it. Has she? It looked like she got it. Looks like she bit it. Well, hopefully she's going to bring it out. Oh, it's so difficult to see through those thick thorns. Oh, I heard the squirrel move again. That squirrel's jumping up into the tree again. Can you believe the squirrel is still alive? So it's just off to in front of her. There he goes. He's trying to climb the tree. The poor little squirrel. Oh, there he is. He's on the ground right in front of her. She shouldn't miss. Oh, she missed. How did you miss that? There's the squirrel. You can see her paw trying to grab it. Let's stay on the squirrel. She might come around to it. See if she problem solves this. There we go. She's coming back in. Oh, so close. Here, you can see the noise the squirrel's making there. Shame. Oh, it's still just managing to get away from her. How that poor little squirrel is still alive. There you look, you can see her paws coming through. Oh, it's coming around from the other side now. Come on, this should be it now. Oh, how does it do it? There we go. Get it. There we go. Thank goodness. Put the poor squirrel out of its misery. Success. A team effort between the two cubs, Shongile and Hosana. I think now, it looks by the way she's holding it, it's finally, hopefully, over for the poor positive squirrel. Here we go. Is she going to go show her mom, or is she going to try? Oh, now hissing at Hosana. Let's try just move back a skosh. Oh. Or forward a skosh. There we go. Success at last. That took a long time for such a tiny meal. Now, the interesting thing is, Greedy Guts Hosana going to steal it from her. Well, theoretically, he did make the initial kill. And he is on his way. He is watching her. I'll let you know if he gets close enough to swing out to Jandre. A squirrel snack. Now, this is the thing about spending a lot of time with these animals. The longer you spend with them, the more chance you've got of seeing the incredible behavior like this. That's directed at Mr. Hosana, who's laying down a little bit too close for Shongile's comfort. Look, she's still got a thorn tree stuck in her face. Well, that's not going to stop her getting stuck into her squirrel. Well, her stolen squirrel. One leg off. Now, guys, I know if you are sensitive, you might not like watching these things. Please be aware that this is nature at its most raw. And oh, there goes the brain casing. Crush, crush. It is necessary for these animals to eat meat, and sometimes they do kill things in a way we would consider inhumane. But to them, it's the only way they know how. Now, it shouldn't take too much longer to wolf down the squirrel. Oh, it doesn't like the squirrel hair. See, even on an animal as small as a squirrel, there is an instinct to pluck the fur. Even though probably they swallow more impala fur on any one impala kill than they would eating a squirrel whole. Just keeping a watchful eye on her brother. There we go. Munchty munch munch munch. Well, hurry up and finish so your mom can lead us off into the other kill, the bigger kill that's waiting. And she keeps looking up at her brother. Now, all these little hunts and kills like this are incredibly important in developing their hunting skills. Now, the hunting skills are instinctive. They don't have to be taught by their mother, but they are honed in these little hunts of squirrels and mongoose and francolin and the such. And of course, it's a bonus snack. Look at that. Munchty munch munch munch. Making sure young Hasano actually initially caught the squirrel. There he is. But then lost it and then gave up trying to get it out of the thorny undergrowth of a pushed over knobthorn. Yes, you silly. And his sister then went and took over and was successful. Oh, let's have a look how much squirrel's left. Now once she's finished the squirrel, hopefully the rest of the family will move on to where there's hopefully a much bigger kill waiting. Who would have thought a squirrel could last a leopard this long? Now this is the first time we've witnessed one of the cubs actually catch and kill something, and it has been incredible. A really, really fascinating little play out, both cubs being involved, and in the end, success for Shongile. Munchty munch munch munch. Well, the squirrel's nearly done. I was hoping to see whether young Hosanna decided to try and make a play at... Oh, there we go. Hiss, hiss, hiss. And Hosanna's going back to mom. And there's almost no squirrel left. So we're going to keep with the royal family, see what happens next. While we do that, let's go see what Byron's up to on foot.
Isn't that incredible, that interaction with the cub and the squirrel? That's fantastic, and it's amazing how they learn from a young age and what they learn on hunting. And something like a squirrel is not easy to catch, so it's incredible how these little leopards are able to catch them. We've come back towards the clearings. Not too much luck in the thickets. We didn't find any animal movements around there. We saw one or two impala briefly, but it seemed to be a quieter walk this afternoon, which happens at times in terms of just animal movement around where we were. But I've come back just to have a look around some of these tree stumps and that in the clearings, and to see if we can't find any little insects that might still be active or moving around. I was hoping to find another scorpion, just like we did this morning. We found that beautiful little scorpion, but it doesn't seem like we've had any luck yet. Again, just a lot of termites. It's amazing how many termites you start finding when you do look for them. And hang on, what do we got here? I want to see if I can pick this up. It's a little insect, but I can't really see what it is. Look at this little guy. What is that? It's covered in dirt, so well camouflaged. Wow, it really is caked in soil. Isn't that fascinating? I just saw the movement, but I have no idea what it is. Oopsie, there it goes. Oh, it's disappeared again. No, there it is, just moving back into that little hole. That is fascinating. I don't know what that was, but so well camouflaged. It looked like just a piece of dirt moving along. It's incredible. It's so fascinating how many tiny little creatures you can find around here. Let's see if there's anything else. Not too much around here at the moment. But I can see all the termite damage to these trees after they've been killed by the elephants. You can see just how these trees have been eaten up. And look at that, all these layers that have been peeled off by the termites. It's actually a beautiful pattern that is left here. It really is incredible just how well they're able to break down the wood material. Well, I suppose that's the end of our bush walk for today. It seems the sun's setting behind us, a beautiful sunset with that cloud cover. And I think you're going to have even better colors a little bit later. But for myself and VM on camera, and of course Herbert, hope you've enjoyed our bush walks this morning and this afternoon. We're going to head back to Jamie now. We'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.
The sun is indeed setting and those on foot have to head home, but never fear, the safari continues on the back of 2 vehicles, and I thought I'd just stop for a moment and take in some really beautiful scenery and just listen to the sounds of the bush. It really is a beautiful evening, and there's nothing like a towering dead tree to really give the scenery an extra dramatic flair. Isn't that beautiful? A little bit of calm after what sounds like a truly frantic leopard sighting that you've all been enjoying. Karula's cubs are coming along quite literally in leaps and bounds. I'm truly impressed with their hunting skills. One of the other reasons that I've stopped here to take in the scenery is I'm patiently waiting for my chance to go and see Tingana, who is about 20 meters away from where the lions are. Not quite 20 meters, sorry. Probably about 200 meters. I missed off a 0 there. Probably about 200 meters, 200 odd yards away from where the lions were left sleeping. I've left them to give room for some of the other vehicles to have a chance to show their guests. And now we're just waiting to go and join Tingana at Red Dam, one of his favourite spots, and go and catch up with Mr. T and see what he's been up to. Apparently he's just finished off an Inyala kill, so he was very, very thirsty. He's gone to have a drink at Red Dam, and now we are just waiting for our chance to go and join them. And we'll start slowly mixed up words. Start slowly trundling in that direction. Been stopping to enjoy the scenery. Sorry, I just have to listen to the lineup for that leopard. What we try and do is we control how many vehicles are around an animal. So for our new viewers, that's what we're doing. That's why I said we're waiting for our chance to see him. It's to make sure that the animal doesn't get over pressurized, it doesn't have lots and lots of vehicles swarming around it, and also just to make sure, that's very interesting. To make sure that we respect the environment that we're in. Sorry, distracted by a giant land snail. Now, is this just a giant land snail shell, or is it in fact an entire giant land? Is it a complete giant land snail? Usually when they're brown like that, they are quite happy and alive. But what we might be seeing, I'm just going to go jump out and have a look. I'm not going to bother him too much if it is alive. Just want to have a look and see. No. Empty shell. Then there we go. It's actually it was a shame. It was a really nice, a big giant land snail. Absolutely massive. They truly are an incredible snail, probably bigger than most of the snails that perhaps you get in your gardens or that you've seen. And this was an old snail, so he's still got pigment around the outside, or sort of the parts of the shell that grow. But the older parts of the shell, along here, towards the end, have become bleached and white. And usually when you see a shell with its pigment still around, there's usually a snail living inside it. But this one, this poor hapless snail, has been caught and eaten by something. I'm not sure what. It could be a number of different things. Birds, even insects occasionally, if they do manage to get hold of them and they do manage to swarm, because of course a snail is a very slow moving thing, which makes it an easy target for something like large ants, matabele ants can feed off the inside of a snail shell. And judging by the goo inside, which I don't think you'll be able to see, but I'll try and... Can you see the dried up goo inside? Judging by that, I would say that the poor land snail's demise was a relatively recent thing. Now there's still a little bit of snail residue. There we go. You see it there, Kat? Perfect. Thank you. Cool. So I shall return... I was going to return it to, but I think I might add it to my ever-growing collection of articles that I'm going to be taking back to James in the tent. Okie dokie. Oh, earlier on, I saw a gecko, which reminded me that I had not yet answered Lindsay's question about which gecko it was that we saw. So Lindsay, you asked a while ago because you were keeping a species list. I don't know if Lindsay is watching, but if you are watching, Lindsay, it was in fact a morose tropical house gecko that we saw the other night. So you can officially add that to your species list. At least from what I could see, it wasn't the best view of a gecko I've ever had. Now, speaking of our shell, we have a question about whether or not I have ever seen a snail without one. And David, you wanted to know whether I've ever seen a snail without a shell. I have not. I have only seen snails with their shells. And the giant land snail, of course, from the moment that they hatch, their shell will grow continuously. They'll hatch as tiny little things, and their shell will continue to grow, and you get these ridges, these grooves, as it lays down the keratin that it needs to produce the shell in these beautiful spirals. So growing up from the body itself. And I'm sorry, I just need to concentrate on the Game Drive channel to try and hear exactly where we are in terms of our future sighting of the biggest, or the dominant male leopard at least, of our area. He's not the biggest. That title goes to the Anderson male, but Tingana is not far off him, and it's been quite a while since we last saw him, and I think we need to go and see him and chat about some of the events that have occurred over the last few days, or the last few weeks. And we're slowly but surely making our way there. Oh, I wondered what smelled so funny. Shame. The buffalo have not done well, or have not been doing well over the last few weeks. And this was a young buffalo. Might have been a lion kill. It could also just have been death by starvation. It's a young buffalo, and of course the hunger will affect the young and the old of the animals out here quickest. Ooh. Sorry, that was a little loud. as we get a little bit closer, it'll be slightly easier for us to be able to hear the Game Drive channel and therefore decide exactly what our route is going to be from there. It's going to be a really, really stunning evening. Because it's only recently started to go green, since we've had a little bit of rain, that might be why it is so quiet. I can't believe we're going back to see Tingana at Red Dam. It seems to be his favorite spot. Are there any stations still on standby for Tingana? While I go off in search of my leopard, let's go over to Brent, who is still with his.
We have come to the end of a very long road, and we found where Karula's got the kill, where she's been leading these cubs to, but like the area she's led us through, oh sorry Jean-Andre, it is let us say, not for ants. Well, actually it's probably best for ants, not for Land Rovers. Oh, you could get through the gap there, Jean-Andre. I can just see him on the forward. Now I can go back. So, I don't know, I'll try to find a better view, but at the moment, that's our best view through that little tunnel there. No problem. So there's a little tunnel through there. That is our best view. It looks, I don't know what it is. I can just see the flies. It could be an Inyala. It looks like an Inyala. I'm not sure how big it is. It is literally behind a wall of thorns. Oh, oh dear, 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 no. Go away. Now, I've already had very bad experiences with hairy caterpillars once this year. Evil things. Terrible creature. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what to do here now. I'm trying to figure out how to get a better view. I don't know if there is actually one. See, Taxon's trying from the other side, but it's just as thick. But it's a it's a baby impala. There we go. Not an Inyala. That's from Tax. Okay, now let's try and think about this. Well, let's just sit here for a while. Maybe something will happen, or we'll get a better view. But I don't think so. As we said, Karula's going to be starting to target these baby impalas. But oof. I can see all the flies already there from the hot day, and then that's what we're hoping. Hasana, move it towards us. I don't think he's going to. And you can see, being the bigger of the two cubs, he's immediately eating first.
Can you see from
you? She was sleeping here, just behind him somewhere. There you go, you can see, scoffing it down. Shungila's over there. Karula's lying quite far away. I'm just trying to see. Okay, there's Karula in the distance. I don't know if we're going to get a better view, Jean-Andre. Well, I'm going to give you Jean-Andre. Jean-Andre's going to come out wide, and you're going to have a look at this. I mean, it's just impenetrable, and there's all these things being pushed down by elephants. So, oh, pretty beetle. Sorry, so I'm very easily distracted. There you go, nice and shiny. Not a dung beetle, but a pretty beetle. I saw another pretty beetle before I got scared of the hairy caterpillar. There you go, you can see that sort of effervescent glow. What do you think, Chandra?
About the beetle?
No, the beetles to keep you entertained while I try to figure out what to do next.
Lovely beetle.
Oh, just hang on a second. So there's a piece of steel that's getting caught. There's a flap of steel that's hanging. Eesh. It's the plate that protects the bottom of your engines come loose, and it's hanging down. Sorry about that. Rex was asking me to have a look under his car. It has been a rough ride keeping up with Karula today, and I'm afraid I don't know if we're going to be able to get any better of a view. Oh, we can see the back of him there. So one of the first baby impala of the year is one of the first baby leopard meals of the year. Okay, I think we're going to try and move. I'm not sure to where. I'm just trying to look around us for a potential gap through this incredibly thick area. So while we do that, let's go jump on board with Jamie as she approaches Red Dam.
We nearly have the opportunity to go in and join Tingana. I'm just giving one of the other vehicles a few more minutes to enjoy the presence of that leopard before they move off, and we can make our way in. And I'm just taking in a moment to remember all of the amazing sightings that we have had at Red Dam. For example, the time that the Tsalalas chased Karula up that knobthorn right in front of us, when she ran up that fork on the left and then perched herself there out of their reach. And that was well over a year ago now. Those of you who've been watching since then, you'll probably remember it. As she sort of dangled up there, looking terribly anxious. She was in the process of mating with Tingana, and they were scavenging off a dead buffalo that was in the drainage line not too far from where we are now. And Tingana and Karula had been mating for 2 days here, and then the Tsalalas suddenly moved in, and Tingana and Karula, I think, were so wrapped up in each other that they didn't realize, and they started making their way back towards the buffalo, only to be chased by the 3 young male Tsalala. It was amazing. And they were, of course, both fine, which was more amazing. It was a terrifying moment for a second, but they were all absolutely fine. I'm hoping we can make our way in slowly but surely. There she was. That's exactly, Gert's showing you exactly what Wiem did. We slid underneath her, we rolled forward underneath her, and her tail was just dangling delicately from the top there. Amazing the speed and agility with which these animals react to such encounters. Stations with Tingana, can I approach? Sorry guys, we just have to wait. Copy that, thank you. Cool. We can make our way in. Alright, let's go and join Mr. T. I know I shouldn't call him that, I'm sorry. I know it causes great confusion because Mr. T was a Mapocho male lion, but I can't help it. It's something that slipped in. I'm not sure which of us started it, but it's something that has slipped into our vernacular. Oh, let's turn that down a little. Okay, and there we go. Hello, boy. Hi, Chris. How are you? Good, thanks. Hi, guys. Hi. Sorry, everybody. Just saying hello to one of the other vehicles and their guests. And there he is, Tingana himself, flicking off the flies that are buzzing round his head. He is a truly magnificent specimen in terms of a male leopard. He's all head and shoulders, and his neck seems to sort of blend into the two of them. I'm just going to put my handbrake up because the Wendy's making some very funny crinking, groaning noises. You thought it was a leopard? No, I'm afraid not. It's the car trying to roll back into Red Dam. Now, I think the first thing we need to chat about, because of course this is the first time that we have seen Tingana, and I think many of you perhaps will be approaching the sighting with mixed emotions, is just to chat a little bit about what happened the other day. For our new viewers, we had a very strange and relatively inexplicable incident. It wasn't with us, it wasn't on our live safaris, but we did receive a phone call from the witnesses to this particular incident the night that it happened. And it occurred with a female leopard known as Shaluva up in the northernmost reaches of Tingana's territory, so right on the boundary with Djuma up near Buffelshoek. And that particular spot is the intersection between Tingana's territory, Mvula's territory, and a young incoming leopard known as Djuma. And we're not quite sure exactly how it happened. We do know what happened, and we won't go into the details of it. But suffice to say, Tingana was seen on the sunset safari making his way into Buffelshoek. And there were some vehicles with this female leopard, Shaluva, who was roughly Karula's age, or she was nearly Karula's age. And Tingana came in and killed her almost instantly. He rushed in, and for some unknown reason, he grabbed her and he killed her. It was a terribly tragic turn of events, and the people that called us were most distraught about what they had just witnessed. Utterly devastated, and for them, of course, Shaluva was she was like the Karula of that Buffelshoek area, so you can imagine how devastating it must have been for them, and completely inexplicable. And the first thing I just want to say is that nature isn't cruel. Nature does things for inexplicable reasons sometimes, but that's only because we're human and we don't understand. I don't know what was going through Tingana's head when he did kill Shaluva, but I would urge you all not to villainize him. He did a bad thing, and I personally don't think he actually intended it. I think he rushed forward. I think he moved into an area that he knows he has rivals in. He thought she was a male, and he rushed in looking for a fight, and because he's double her size, he killed her almost straight away before she even had a chance to fight back. I really think he thought she was a male. That's the dominant theory that we've come up with, but truly we'll never know. We'll never know exactly what went through Tingana's head at that moment. Hey boy, what happened? We don't know. And leopards do things for their own reasons, and life can be really tough out here and violent, and you have to fight for your place and your territory and your right to pass on your genetics. And that's exactly what Tingana was doing. And it was so unfortunate that Shaluva was the victim of it. And of course, she could have been a female with whom he could have mated and passed on his own genes. I just don't think he realized. And she was a little bit bigger than Karula. She was quite a big, stocky leopard. I will comfort you all, though, in that sad situation by saying that I don't think Shaluva suffered at all. We did go through with a Panthera representative to go and collect DNA samples from her after she was killed. Tingana had been, unfortunately, as animals do, they don't waste a meal, so he had been feeding off her, but he was lying up a little bit away from her, and as soon as we got to the carcass, he immediately got up and ran, as soon as we got out of the car. So she is bigger than Karula. And we didn't see any signs of pregnancy, but that's also entirely possible that perhaps she had cubs that she was trying to protect, that cubs that would not have been Tingana's, so that is possible. We can't dismiss that theory because we don't know. But the dominant theory was that he thought he made a mistake. He thought she was a male. A very, very sad incident, but not a reason for us to hate Tingana. Unfortunately, it is just the way of things out here. And I don't think we need to fear a repeat of that incident. I think it is very, very unusual behavior. There's definitely nothing wrong with him. It's not any kind of disease or anything like that we can see. And Paul, you wanted to know, because I think a lot of people, and it's good to address this, a lot of people were concerned that he might do the same to other females, and maybe even Karula. And yes, we do think there's a good chance that he is the father of Karula's cubs. We don't know for certain. We'll never know for certain until the DNA results come back from the scat samples that we collect. And that could take years, but eventually we'll find out the truth about who the father of Karula's cubs is. I mean, I spoke about the fact that she was mating with Tingana not too long ago around Red Dam. It was a year and a bit ago. And there's a good chance. We saw her mating with him several times. So there is a good chance that he fathered those cubs. He is the dominant male. But female leopards, of course, for our new viewers, female leopards are clever creatures. They know all about how to go about tricking the various males in the area into thinking that they are the father by mating with as many males as possible. And it might just be that Shaluva, unfortunately, didn't mate with Tingana and he didn't recognize her. I don't think, as far as I know, there's no records of Shaluva ever having mated with Tingana. He's snoozing away quite happily, quite oblivious to the drama that he caused. It just doesn't enter into their way of thinking. I think I might go round to the other side. I actually think we might have a really stunning view. Oh, hold on, his head's up. Let me just move out of the way here. Oh, hold on. Shanae's going forward. Sorry, just bear with me one moment. I'm just waiting to see which way Shanae wants to go and if she can get round. And then we can reposition to get to Tingana. Okay, let's keep looking at Tingana for now. It is such a stunning view, and he does have his head up. Hello, boy. I wonder if he knows there's lions there. He's looking in the direction of the lions. I wonder if he's realized that they are around. I don't think so. I don't think he hasn't realized. That was very ambiguous. I don't think that he hasn't realized. I think he knows that there are lions there. Hi, Shanae, how are you? Good, thanks. Thanks very much. Cool. Sorry, everybody, just saying hello to one of the other guides, a name that many of you will recognize, of course. Shanae, who works at Nkoro. He's glancing off in the direction of the lions, and they're not a threat to him, at least at this distance. He's got a nice, sort of prominent spot on the dam wall. He can see around him, and he knows that he is the fastest creature out here in terms of speed. We did actually once see Tingana... Oh, is he going to soar? Or is he just shifting a very full belly? I think he's just shifting a very full belly. We did actually once see Tingana have a very narrow escape from a lioness. That was actually relatively scary. He was hunting and he didn't realize she was there. He wasn't paying enough attention, and she managed to sneak up on him, and she had a full run up. So a leopard is faster than a lion. Oh, awesome. A leopard is faster than a lion, but it takes them a while, like all sprinters, to reach their top speed, although they do it much faster than a human being. So he didn't have time to reach his full top speed, whereas she was barreling towards him, and he just managed to leap up into a marula tree and escape her attentions. It was a very close call. Oh, it's so hard to reconcile what we see now in the form of this gorgeous male leopard and the events that occurred the other night. But it is something that just happens in the wild, and it probably is less rare than we think it is. I don't think it's common. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that happens regularly. But I think it probably does occur more than we realize. Leopards make mistakes. And if he was walking in an area where he could smell other males, perhaps even another male had freshly scent marked. I Andrew, you wanted to know whether or not a male leopard would kill its own female cub. No, probably not. But it does occasionally occur, where Tingana has been known. I don't know about known. I have heard stories, and you always have to take them with a pinch of salt, but I have heard stories that Tingana did kill 1 or 2 cubs in his sort of early days of his reign, that might have been his, and that he obviously didn't accept as his. Any male cat will kill any female's cubs that are not his own, or that he doesn't realize are his own, as a way of bringing her back into estrus as quickly as possible. So it happens with lions. I mean, the Birmingham boys killed the Styx cubs and some of the Nkuhuma's females, the adult females. It happens with lions, it happens with leopards, and leopards will also kill young males as a way of reducing any possible rivals. But they tend to be much more tolerant of their cubs, and of course Tingana is quite not an old leopard, but he's a mature leopard now. He's been in control for a long time, and he knows how to sort of handle cubs and females. And bear in mind, I've seen him with Karula and her cubs. He's been seen with Shadow and her cubs sharing kills. He's been seen with Karula sharing kills with her and her cubs, and he hasn't done them any harm. He does look absolutely beautiful in this afternoon light. Now, caged on the subject of leopards killing other leopards, you wanted to know if Karula has ever killed another leopard. Not that I know of, and probably that any of us will ever know of. There's always supposition, and there's always wild stories bouncing about. I think we would be silly to assume that she wouldn't if she came across potentially an unrelated female's cubs that were left unattended. I don't think that the chances of her killing her own daughter's cubs are very slim. But it's not impossible that she could kill cubs of an unrelated female, because they would be competition. I doubt she's done it, but it is possible. And the same applies to all leopards. They don't have the same code of morality. They're not governed by the same rules. They live completely different lives that we don't even begin to understand, or even begin to imagine the difficulties of. So it's possible. Just in the same way that it's possible that a Sindile could kill a young cub. That is what young males do. We just never know. And bear in mind, we spend, I don't know, maybe 2% of their lives with them, probably even less, of their day-to-day, everyday existence. We just don't see everything. Now, speaking of Karula, and just so you know, I'm not saying that she has killed any leopard cubs, let's go back across to Brent to see how she's doing.
Welcome. We're finally, after following Karula for hours through the thickest of the thickest bush, arrived at what she killed, and it is one of the first baby impala of the year. There it is. Oh, so many flies. Hassan has already eaten quite a bit. He ate the liver. And, oh, look at that, the flies are just too much for it. Hassan left because the flies were too much for him. Shongilila seems to be facing a similar problem. They've grown up during a winter period. They haven't had to deal with all these flies before. Fight them, Shongi, fight them. But as I said, we're not going to stay here very long. It's about to get dark. The kill's on the ground. Cubs are here. Just wonderful that Karula managed to catch baby impala for the little ones. And we managed to get a good view. Now, I think they're probably going to wait till the flies settle down as it gets dark before starting to feed. And unfortunately, we're not going to be here. We don't want to be attracting any hyenas into this area. But we're going to go see what else we can find. And there we go. You can see that mass of flies. They don't seem to bother lions as much as they bother leopards. Oh, she does. Shame. Oh, shame, man. Those flies are making it difficult for you to eat, little Shongi. When summer's coming, you're going to have to get used to that, my girl. Here we go. Get tucked in. Okay, while Shongi gets tucked in, we're going to duck out. While we do that, let's go back to another incredible leopard with Jamie.
While the royal family tucks into their meal, we are still with the magnificent Tingana stretched out across the dam wall. Now, just on the subject of spotlighting, typically in this situation with Tingana on the dam wall, I would quite happily sit with a spotlight next to him. However, we are quite literally in the direct eye line of the lions. I mean, they can see us, and I could, when I repositioned, I could actually see them briefly a moment ago. So they've got a kill, and they are right in at the point that they can see Tingana, and whilst I don't think it would make a major difference, it's not a risk I'm willing to take. So we won't be spotlighting Tingana either, just to make sure that we don't have any kind of negative impact on these animals, especially with lions so close. And if I were in a sighting with Tingana and I was sitting here with a spotlight on him and I noticed some lions, I would immediately turn all of my lights off. So we're definitely not going to be risking his safety in any way. Hey boy, what do you say to that? One very sleepy, very full leopard. He's tremendously comfortable, you know, for a leopard that, in my theory, and what I said earlier, who knows that there's lions there, he's got his back to them completely. He's totally turned away from them. It just goes to show how reliant these animals are on their exceptional senses, especially sense of hearing. He's lying there quite happily, quite contentedly. I can't say that I would be napping so comfortably with lions so close to me. But then again, I can't jump 3 meters up into a tree from a standing start. So perhaps that has something to do with it. A supreme sense of the nature of his reflexes. I definitely can't do what he can do. He could probably jump straight into that tree from where he is and be out of their reach in 2 seconds. Alright, just enjoying the peace of the evening. Listening to the sound of the pygmy or red-chested cuckoo. Laurie, welcome to the Sunset Safari. I'm sorry, I don't quite understand the first part of your question. You've asked who holds territory best. Is it lions, leopards, or hyenas? I'm not quite sure what you mean by best. Do you mean for the longest time period or the most successfully? I'm not quite sure exactly what it is you mean by best. However, in terms of holding territory for the longest period of time, probably lion prides. There's a constant sort of ebb and flow, especially within the males of the species, both male lions and male leopards, and female leopards to a degree. But lion prides generally seem to be the guardians of an area for generations and generations and generations. Yes, they move a little bit and their home range shifts a little bit, but lion prides made up only of females will be the ones that probably, in terms of best, will hold their territories for the longest. Excuse me. Female leopards are in a constant state of flux, and of course they are constantly giving up little bits of their territory to their daughters. Their males disperse, and then male leopards and male lions, it really does just depend on the circumstances. A leopard or a lion could hold a territory for 4 years or 5 years, but if there's another competitor, then they could only hold it for 1.5 years or not even make it to that long. It's very much dependent on external factors. In terms of them competing with and then in terms of fighting each other for the same territory, they don't. So, Glory, they are in competition with each other, so they don't necessarily tolerate each other in the same place. Lions will go out of their way to kill other big cats, as will big cats, all big cats. If a leopard happened upon a hyena cub, it would kill it. Leopards and hyenas generally tend to hang around relatively close to each other without fussing too much. You don't often get leopard-hyena conflict. The hyena might come in and steal the leopard's food, but no, they don't compete for the same territories. So it's not as though each species has to have a distinctive territory. Look at this. I mean, Tingana's 200 meters, no, less than. He's 100 meters away from these lions now, and not at all concerned. So no, they don't hold distinct and separate territories from each other, but they are in competition with each other, and as a result, they could actually kill each other, and do come into conflict every now and again. And the biggest conflict, or the biggest situation in terms of an overpopulation of lions, which we don't have here, but does occasionally occur, but as soon as you get too many lions, you lose all of your smaller predators. Not all of them, but you lose a large percentage of them. The other animals are just out-competed, and they either move off or they are killed by the lions. Now, I doubt that Amber Eyes or that male is going to stir, and in fact I think one thing that probably counts in Tingana's favour, whether he realises it or not, is the presence of Mfumo. Now, Mfumo is not a young male lion, so he's not going to be intrigued by the sight of a leopard. He's not going to go out of his way to try and catch Tingana, or he's unlikely to. Young male lions are dangerous things, because they're full of curiosity and testosterone, and they want to experiment, and they have that natural instinct to attack anything that they see. But an older, slightly more established male lion is less likely to, and now especially because his attention is diverted by Amber Eyes, I doubt he's going to. She could try and stalk him, but I doubt Mfumo is going to let her. And in the ensuing ruckus created by the two of them coming into conflict with each other, Tingana would probably be up and away and disappearing like a shadow into the night. Speaking of shadow, she has been found on Simbambili. Just by the way, for those of you who have been concerned about her, we haven't seen her in a while. Shadow is Karula's oldest daughter, and she used to spend a lot of time in this area that we're in now, but she has been slowly but surely pushed out by another female. Another much larger female, actually. Now, Isabella, welcome to the sunset safari. While our leopard dozes away quite happily on the ground, you wanted to know if it's common for leopards to sleep on the ground out in the open like this, or if it's just because he feels safe. Leopards are funny things. They are particularly big male leopards who do feel secure in themselves. Oh, good morning. And hello. Flopping over. Leopards are curious creatures. They do strange things and they're unpredictable. Yes, they often sleep out in the open, despite the fact that when you read a textbook, one of the first things it says is that leopards love to hide away in dense vegetation, which they do, but they also don't mind lying out in the open. And I do think there is a degree that he feels safe. Maybe because he knows where the lions are, or maybe just because it is as open as it is, and he's got such a nice high vantage point. So it's kind of like a leopard lying on a termite mound. He's just lying on a dam wall, or a waterhole wall. When it's hot, they sleep up in the tree, where there's shade and there's a breeze, and the earth is not baking them from below. I think he's too full to go up a tree right now, though. Unless he has to. He's still looking in the direction of the lions. They might be up and feeding by now. I'm trying to see if I can see them from here. I can't from my angle. But just to give you an idea, you see where the dead tree is. Let's just try and show you. From where we are now, and from where to that dead tree at the back, that is where the lions are. The dead tree is at the back. Oh, and I just think I just heard one of them. There. The lions are roughly there underneath that tree, but hidden in the thicket. So that's how close we are to the lions. So in the next few seconds, we're going to be leaving Tingana to go off in search of other nocturnal creatures. However, while we do that, let's go over to Brent and see what his plans are for the rest of the sunset safari.
Hello. We've managed to extricate ourselves from that block. I've got a few owies, some new holes, and that one's still got a thorn in it, and I'll have to dig that out later. But I just heard the Styx Lionesses are around, so we're going to head down there and see if we can catch up with them for the last few minutes of drive. Oh, I'm so happy our plan worked out today. I was really hoping that Karula was going to catch something. I wonder if that's her first baby impala of the lambing season. I think it might be. Now, thank goodness. Oh, that's actually quite sore. It's right in the joint. Thank goodness she's got cubs. So, generally, if you've got a leopard that doesn't have cubs at this time of the year, at the impala lambing season, they become incredibly difficult to find. Because when they catch a baby impala, it weighs even less than a dyke or a steenbok. So you don't find those distinct drag marks. Sorry, 1 second. Copy, thanks FBI. Sorry, I had to fix something on the Morva. I'm coming down Mamba now. Copy, thanks very much. Oh, sorry, Jean, I was on the radio. What was it? Oh, tawny eagle. Okay. Well, Karula's will be quite happy that tawny eagle. That's why she would have hidden that baby impala. Oh dear. So deep in that thicket to make sure something like a tawny eagle or a basileia didn't spot it. Oh dear. And you can see we've been off-roading. I just need to do some. Our light is now pointing backwards. That's that way. Of course, they have to be able to swivel, because if they don't swivel, firstly, we can't set them where we want them to go, and thirdly, they would probably break while we off-roaded. There's a lovely smell to the African bush this evening, a lovely crisp, clear genre. Because I stole it from you last time, you can have it this time. Oh no, it flew again. Sorry, I thought I was going to stop. A very full crop, that tawny eagle. As it took off, you could actually see that it was very full. I think there it goes in the distance. Genre is going for it. Oh, it's gone. It might land. There's a big dead knobthorn on the right. You'll get it, John Ray. It's seated nicely for you. I'm going to try and get the best skyline for the tawny silhouette. You ready with your screenshots? There we go. Now we just need the tawny to pop its head up. Stop being... There we go. Lovely. Doing a bit of preening. Beautiful. Lovely. Oh, look at that. Stop. Oh, there we go. Screenshot quickly, guys. Quickly. Share them on the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or on our Facebook page or on many of the groups that the Safari Live fans have. That was wonderful. Perfect. Sorry I chased it earlier, Jean-Ray, but at least we got it this time. Okay, let's keep heading towards those Styx lions. Remember, this is 100% live. We do not know what is around the next corner. This time it was a tawny eagle. Next time it could be an elephant. Next time it could be a lion. Well, actually, that's a lie. I know where the lions are, so hopefully they will be around the corner, unless they move before we get there. And not the hashtag Safari Live, of course, is not only for sharing screenshots that you get on the live drives. You can ask us questions, and you can do that on Twitter with the hashtag Safari Live, or if you would like to send us an email, you can with the questions at WildEarthTV. Now it looks like the rain that was predicted missed us and headed to the north. I'm not sure whether there's more weather predicted for the week, but we'll find out. The bush is always quite special after a few days of sort of drizzle and cloud, and then when the sun bursts out, you get very crisp, clear skies, crisp, clear bush, wonderful smells. What a wonderful place to call home. We shouldn't be too far away from the lions now. We're just going to pop through the Mawati, head a little bit further to the north. Tough day in the office. We're going to keep moving to Styx Lionesses. While we do that, go see what Jamie's been for the rest of the life.
Well, Brent is absolutely spot on. There's nothing like the magic of the bush just after a light rain. And of course, it brings with it the possibility of all sorts of things. I'm hoping for an alate emergence. In other words, the winged reproductive members of the termite mounds, they come out in search of a mate and a way of creating their own new termite colony. And it always attracts so many different species, different birds, nocturnal birds, little owls, and aardvarks, and all kinds of things. I've seen a leopard before feeding off a termite explosion. We call it an explosion of termites. And they do come out in thousands and thousands. So that's what I'm hoping for tonight. And perhaps we'll get a chance to see them. And then it continues on throughout the next day. And it's always a very... We've had some amazing shots before. I remember once, I think it was James and myself, sitting at the last termite explosion at the end of the last rainy season, sitting with our lights on so that I was backlighting the termites for him and vice versa, and they were all fluttering around us. It was truly magical. Apart from when they went down your shirt, it was a truly magical experience. It was utterly beautiful. They were like fairy lights in that light. Crawling, creeping fairy lights. Tangui style. You want to know whether or not flies will go away during the evening on an African evening. Yes, they do, or at least they don't tend to plague us as much. They will often, there's some species of fly that will only live for a couple of hours at a time, go out, breed, and that's their life cycle complete. Lay their eggs and the maggots will start, and that's how they reproduce. But the flies will generally go and settle somewhere and spend the evening away from us. Where at night, we face an entirely different group of insects, moths and beetles, and all sorts of exciting things come out. And it's always entertaining whenever you find yourself sitting around a campfire and eating in the dark. You always know the people who have perhaps not spent all that much time out here in Africa, or at least in an area where there are lots of bugs, because rather than trying to eat by the light of the fire, they'll have those spotlights on their heads, those flashlights that sit on their heads, and they look down at their food like that, and then they wonder why on earth they're trying to avoid eating all of the bugs that are flying into their faces. We do, of course, tell them, if you have guests and they don't know what they're doing, you always tell them to avoid having a spotlight on your head that all of the insects are attracted to. Now, that's something that we definitely avoid, but the spot with the spotlight is unavoidable. Now, there are at least some big cats on Djuma that we can spotlight. Let's go over to Brent and the Styx Lionesses.
And there it is indeed. Here we go. One of the Styx Lionesses busy grooming herself. And you can see they're recovering quite nicely from the mange, slowly but surely. And the mange is one of those parasites that struggles when it's damp and wet, so the rain should help tremendously with that. Now, I heard the reason that they're up here is that an unidentified pride of lions came in from the south. Now, judging from where they came in, near the Londolozi Mala boundary, it's more than likely a pride I used to know as well, called the Irefield Pride in some places, or the Sparta Pride in other places. So apparently 5 or 6 lionesses from that pride made a foray into what is very traditionally Styx country, and being down to 2, not even 3, because that female is denning with her cubs way down on Cheetah Plains. These 2 lionesses skedaddled up to the north. Now, luckily for them, the Nkahumas went west. But you'll probably find the Styx girls will keep quite a low profile up here in Nkahuma land, not being too vocal. Now, it was December last year, I actually saw these 2 Styx girls on quarantine, which is very much Nkahuma country. So there are no real set boundaries, rather sort of home ranges. That there is some overlap between the prides. Trying to get some of those ticks and fleas out of there, I'm sure. So we're quite close to Chelepan, so quite deep inside Djuma for the Styx. Oh, shh. I heard that. Did you hear that, Chandra? Where did that roar come from? I think Nkahuma's on the west. That roar came from the east. Must be one of the Birmingham boys. Right in the distance. Calling away. What's the other female behind us doing, Chandra?
Yeah, 2 dogs to see. Whoa.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to see what the other lion's doing. Is she up on the move? Is she having a drink? Sorry, oh, she's moved onto the road. She's moved onto the road behind us. Not too far. I think this lioness is more than likely to get up and move towards her, so I'm going to move towards the one who's on the road. So, as I said, the mange... Oh, that was close. Don't want to fall into a mud wall there, even a little one. Especially not a big one. Hello, girlie. Let's just get the car in the right spot. There it is. Another of the Styx Lionesses. Only 3 that I know of left. Oh, maybe not such a low profile. Now, Judy's wondering if the... Oh, sorry, Judy, I'm just getting my spotlight. If the Styx smelt an Nkuma scent mark, would they turn around and leave? Depends how fresh the scent mark is, but there we go. There's a bit of contact calling. I don't know who you contact calling for. Maybe the third lioness who's got the cubs. Oh, and then flop. Roll over. Stretch and walk towards us. No? You can still see there are a few bad spots of mange left, but they're definitely looking better than they were. Now these lions could be coming to estrus quite soon. Of course they did lose their cubs to mange. Maybe they're looking for Birmingham boys. You see the canines still in perfect order. It has been a hot day. Probably still a little lazy. Not quite ready to get up and start moving yet. Heavy eyelids. Now, until we see them sort of starting to get up, urinate, stretch, I'm probably not going to get too mobile. And lifting her face towards the wind. Oh, here comes a yawn. Mighty gnashes there, madam. His teeth look in great condition. Hi, Kathy. Kathy's wondering, do the Birminghams mate with the Styx Lionesses? Indeed they do, Kathy. The Birminghams control 3 prides currently. The Nkahumas, the Styx, and the Torchwood Pride. Torchwood Pride I've never seen. They're way down. Spend most of their time in Kruger, way down in the east. But, oh, here she comes. But we are coming towards the end of the sunset safari. And I'm going to say goodbye for Jamie, because we've got lions, and they might get a little bit of greeting before the end of the show. But it has been a spectacular Sunday fun day with big cats galore, Styx, Nkahumas, Tingana, Karula, and cubs. What a wonderful Sunday. And now the Styx giving us a little bit of greeting. Oh, and they're heading deeper north, deeper into Nkahuma land. Yeah, see, look at that behavior. They're about to come into estrus. She's false presenting to a female. So I think, yeah, they're looking for boys, these two. She's acting like she was flirting with the male. But, oh, we're going to get some pseudo-female mating. So definitely about to come into estrus. And what a way to end Sunday's show. So from Jean and myself and the rest of the Safari Live team, adieu.